Okay, next up we move on to the lightning talk portion of our show. And first up we have Randy Bush.
Is there a clicker? Thanks. Oops. Okie doke. Pardon? Yeah, I see that, but okie doke. Let's figure out how to use this. So I work for a Japanese ISP one of my feet is in the research side, and these are fellow researchers. And we're looking at, of course, you've heard of the wonderful little event over there. So I'll tell you some about the real world event. Then we look at it through the routing, and we look at it through traffic. That is Japan. The two red lines indicate the two things we're really going to look at, which is the more vertical one is from Sendai down to Tokyo, and then the Tokyo area overseas. The real world events, March the 11th at 2:46 in the afternoon, things were pretty scary. Things were highly destructive up in Iwate and Fukushima prefectures, or no, Iwate and, skip it. And so, 2 minutes later, our data center switched to in-house power. The two links to Sendai from Tokyo area were lost. And starting about 5 hours later, links overseas, the Transpac links were lost. Why there's the 5-hour delay is because what you're really seeing is underwater landslides taking out those links, considerable delay. Then 2 more links are lost to Transpac, and then a link is restored to Sendai, and so forth. By the time we get to 2 days later, everything's back up. Okay? OSPF is an internal, the IGP, and we have an external view from a neighboring provider of BGP. Thank you, Packet Design, for giving us the researchers Route Explorer so we could look at the records. There's about 1,500 links and about 325 nodes. So we bucket events in an hour, okay? So in Asia, usually red is good and green is more neutral, so don't get fooled. What you're seeing is the neighbor adds are the red going up, neighbor drops are the greens going down. You can guess when the events are, and that's about what it looks like from OSPF at an overview. What we see in the interesting OSPF events is we can see the 2 links to Sendai being lost, bang on, okay? We can see the timeouts coming later. OSPF is a lazy protocol, okay? Then we see failing links, the timeouts on the failing links, etc., and the recoveries. Okay? So that's the real detailed timeline on those particular links. The connectivity to Sendai was lost for 15 hours and change. Out of a dozen or so Transpac links, 3 fail. OSPF churn is low compared to the number of refresh LSAs. So there we can see 100 prefixes disappearing, but you look at the prefix events overall, and it's the constant churn. Okay. The second thing is we have a friendly neighbor where we have a BGP monitor looking at their dingy dingy. I didn't do this. There we go. Looking at their iBGP from inside the neighboring AS. I really wish. Will this work from over there so I can? Move this way? Okay. See? There we go. Okay, so we've got a monitor inside the neighboring ISP monitoring, and so we look at the hour prefixes as seen by that ISP. And what we see is, we can see the event. Sure. Boop, 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 boop. You want to? The answer is no, I can't use that. There we go. Okay. So, oops. So, what we see is the event, and then we see a mess of prefixes. Very few get dropped, and there's the restore. The updates seen by the peer are here, and you can see the stuff start to come up. But if we look at it in compared to the rest of what they're seeing in BGP, almost everything is drowned out by just normal BGP noise. Okay? So it is not a significant BGP event to them. Traffic, we can look at, and I'm a routing guy, not a traffic guy, so I'll go through this even more quickly, is up in Miyagi Prefecture, we see the death of Sendai, slow recovery over multiple days. The rest, as far as its influence on total Japanese, boy, I have talent here. This is now dead. So what we see is as part of the how much this represents of total Japanese traffic, not really that much. Okay? So we see the trans-Pacific links. We see the stuff switch from one to the other of one of two particular interesting Transpac links. Another Transpac link, here goes the load. Uncut, stayed up the whole time, no congestion. Okay, here's some information from JP NAP, and we look at their load. Here's a Tokyo one. Here's Osaka, right? You see the hit, nothing exciting, just a traffic loss. Okay, same story. What else did we see? We saw one link past Sendai all the way up to Sapporo, that's in that island up on the north end, the Hokkaido, went down because it was shared fate, same duct as Sendai. But there were other links, no customer effect. When we looked inside the BGP neighbor, we found out one of their routers was doing an entire BGP reset for all their sessions once a day, and they hadn't noticed it. They cleared that up. So it's useful just to, we don't look at our routing. We don't actually look at the routing. So Sendai was disconnected for more than 15 hours. No effect on any other customers. Transpac links were impacted by the quake and aftershocks, but BGP and IGP healed it. By the way, we're a simple ISP, no MPLS, real IPv6, by the way, for about 14 years now. We have no secret sauce. Just IP routing, over-provisioning, prudent operations. Aside from the physical downtimes to Sendai, nothing. Routing spikes, worked around the cuts. Life was pretty boring. So routing works, over-provisioning works, and the internet works. And that's it.
Any questions for Andy?